Hey guys, Metal Driver here bringing you another WWE Elite review. Today I'll be looking at the Ringside exclusive Edge figure. Looking at the sides of the box, on one side you see an image of Edge, and on the other side we see an image of Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. The back of the box features an image of Edge, Zack Ryder, and Kurt Hawkins, and a read-up of this figure. The read-up says, "You think you know me. The World Heavyweight Championship picture in 2007 was a bitter three-way rivalry between Batista, Undertaker, and Edge. The rated R superstar relinquished the title due to injury, only to interfere 2 months later in the Hell in a Cell match at Survivor Series between the Animal and the Dead Man. The rubber met the road when SmackDown GM Teddy Long declared that the Armageddon main event would be a triple threat match between the three superstars. Throughout the match, Edge bobbed and weaved his way out of danger. Then Batista speared him out of the ring. Or did he? Undertaker chokeslammed Edge out of his boots. Or did he? In truth, Batista speared Zack Ryder and Undertaker chokeslammed Kurt Hawkins, both lifelong Edgeheads, disguised as their hero to distract his monstrous opponents. Edge shocked the world, regained his title, took the future tag team champions under his wing, and proved once again that he is the ultimate opportunist. Alright, now that we have looked at the box, let's go ahead and open this figure up and take a closer look at Edge and the Edgeheads. Alright, and here is the rated R superstar out of the packaging. But first, let's take a look at the accessories that he comes with. So out of the box, he comes with a SmackDown entrance backdrop, which is actually pretty cool, so you can use this as a display piece, which is nice. Then he comes with some interchangeable gripping hands. Then as you can see, he comes with his entrance jacket, which I do believe we have seen this before. I think this was released with a couple other Edge from this era. So it's got some nice sculpt work, so it's not just a solid black smooth coat. There is no extra paint other than the silver, which looks to be painted pretty well. Now this is a plastic jacket, so it is going to hinder the articulation, so the arms are not going to move very much at all. So it is a bummer. I would like to see a soft goods jacket, so perhaps if we get an Ultimate Edition rated R superstar version, we can get that. I do believe that they're making Ultimate Edition Edge from Royal Rumble 2020. Hopefully that one comes with a soft goods jacket. So this is removable. You're gonna have to remove the hands first. Then the other pieces of accessories that the figure comes with are the interchangeable heads. So first we're gonna take a look at the Kurt Hawkins head, which is very well sculpted. It looks just like Kurt Hawkins. I think the paint came out very well on this figure. He's got a little bit of stubble on his chin. The eyes look really well painted, so do the eyebrows. I really like the sculpt work on this figure. Then the hair, it's not just a solid piece of plastic, it's got, looks like a couple different colors there, so it's got some highlights in there, so it's painted pretty well. So I really like how this head sculpt turned out. Then looking over at the Zack Ryder head, so this one's also pretty well made. He's got a nice lively expression, it's well painted, so the lips look good, the teeth look good, the eyes are a bit squinted, and that's painted well. Then you get a little bit of the eyebrows there. They've got the same highlights in the hair, and he's wearing this beanie, which is nice and wrinkled, so it looks really good. Now, in my opinion, I don't know if I really like this expression for the Zack Ryder head. Personally, I would have preferred it they used a smirking face for Zack Ryder, similar to the image that they have on the side of the box. So I'm feeling a bit conflicted on this head sculpt. It's well made, I just don't know if I really like it. But from an objective standpoint, it is well made, it is a good head sculpt. Then looking at the Edge head. So this one is really well done. The sculpt work is very good. It looks just like Edge from this era. The paint came out very well on the beard. The facial hair on the upper lip, the mustache looks really good. The eyes came out very well. So did the eyebrows. Then looking at the hair, it's well sculpted. It's got the same paint scheme as the other two. So it's got some shading, some blondes in there, some highlights. And I love the expression that they use for this Edge head sculpt. Definitely captures that opportunistic look, as if he's up to no good, or he's planning something devious. Then here's a look at the three head sculpts side by side, so you can get a good look of how they look next to each other. Then looking at the rest of the body. So the torso, it's just a solid torso, no extra paint. Then the arms has his tattoos, so this is really well done. The line work is good on the stars. The skulls look really good. It's a nice vibrant paint. Then looking at his forearm, he's got another tattoo here. He's got his wrist tape painted on the figure. Then looking at this shoulder here, this sun tattoo looks really good, very well painted. He's got his other tattoo on this forearm, which is well done. And his wrist tape is painted as well. And I want to make a note that I actually bought 3 of these, as you probably noticed. And on this one, they did not paint the tape here. So it's actually a good thing I bought multiple of these, so I was able to pick out the best one for my Edge. So that's a bit disappointed that that one turned out that way. And then looking at the hands, he's got his rock on hand gesture, which is really good. Perfect for Edge. He did this all the time during this era. And if you want, you could even swap these out and put this on a click member, so you can use this as the too sweet sign as well. Then looking at the lower body, so you've got the R on the front of the tights. The right leg has a star, and R, it says Rated R Superstar. Painted very well, looks really good. And on the other side, you've got the same thing. So you got your star, R, Rated R Superstar. The letters came out pretty well. Seems like there's maybe some slight mispaint, but it's no big deal. Then the rest of the tights are just a solid black. Then we go down to his boots, a star with an R. Paint came out pretty well for the most part. There's just a little bit of missing paint right here. Then on the other boot, same thing. For the most part, pretty good, except for just some slight mispaint there and a slight mispaint on this line here. So it's missing a little bit of white there. And again, very glad that I got multiple of these because this one's actually the best looking out of the three as far as paint apps go. So if you look at the one that I'm using for Kurt Hawkins, who's got the missing wrist tape, you can see here the R, there's a good chunk of white paint missing. Then the star here, you're missing some silver on the star, good chunk of white missing on the R there, so that looks pretty sloppy. And on the other side, this one looks pretty good. And then the R on the trunks, again, some noticeable missing white paint. And looking at the Zack Ryder that I'm using, the R looks good here. This side looks pretty good. Paint came out pretty well on that one. And looking at this side, looks like the S and the U and the P on Superstar is missing quite a bit of paint. Then looking at the boots here, you got some missing white paint on the R, you got some sloppiness on the line here, and then some more missing white paint on this R. So unfortunately, looks like 2 out of 3 has some pretty bad paint apps, whereas this one has some pretty good paint apps. So if you're someone who only bought one figure, then you're kind of gambling, because it seems like got some QC problems with the paint. However, if you bought 3 of them like I did, then you can just pick out the best one that you want for your Edge, and then the other 2 can have the bad paint apps. So you can just think of those as using hand-me-down tights. Alright, going over the articulation on the figure, so the Kurt Hawkins head sculpt can look decently up. It can look slightly down, so the hair slightly hinders the articulation. It can turn side to side, and it can tilt. The Zack Ryder head sculpt can look not far up at all, so it doesn't really move up. It can look down, so that's pretty good. It can turn side to side, and it can tilt. Then the Edge head sculpt can look slightly up. It can go not too far down. It can turn side to side, and it can tilt. Shoulder has a hinge, which allows it to go that high up. It can rotate all the way around. There's a bicep swivel, and a single jointed elbow, which gives us almost 90 degrees, so the elbow pad does hinder a little bit of the articulation. There's a swivel at the wrist and a hinge. He has an ab crunch, which allows him to go that far forward and that far back. He has a waist swivel. Ball joint at the hips, which allow the legs to go that far out, and it looks like this one's a bit tight, so I'm going to have to loosen that one up. The legs can go that high up. There's a thigh cut, and he does have double jointed knees. There's a cut at the boot, which allows for rotation. The ankle has a hinge, which allows it to go that high up and that far down, and he does have some slight ankle pivot. Alright, so what are my final thoughts on the Ringside exclusive Edge figure? I think it's a pretty cool figure all around. Unfortunately, 2/3 of my set that I purchased had QC problems with the paint, and the one that I'm using as Kurt Hawkins didn't even have his wrist tape painted on his wrist, so that is a bit disappointing. So if you're only picking up one, there could be a chance that your figure might have some bad paint apps. Hopefully that is not the case, that this set or this figure doesn't have QC problems throughout the entire production, and hopefully it's just me having bad luck. But thankfully I did buy 3, so I was able to pick out the best one to use for my Edge. But aside from the QC paint issues, I do like this figure. I like that we have interchangeable heads, so you can have the Edge heads. It's very similar to the Ringside exclusive Undertaker disguised as Kane. With that figure, you had an Undertaker head and a Kane head, so you can use it as both Undertaker or Kane. So if you are a fan of Edge, or if you missed out on the other Rated R Superstar Edge figures, then I think this is a figure that you definitely want to pick up and add to your collection. So if you like this review, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe so you can see more WWE Elite reviews. As always, stay tuned till the end to see pictures of these figures in action, and I'll see you next time.
You think you know me?